Now, since most of us don't work in spreadsheets as much as we do in others, documents such as Word documents or presentations, I want to give you a little bit of an introduction to spreadsheets. I'll be using Microsoft Office, Excel as the example, but the same things apply whether you're working in the Google Sheets or if you're using the Apple Numbers programs. The same principles are going to apply. So first, let's notice that what we have here, we have a spreadsheet and it's divided into columns. You have columns here. Remember, columns go up and down. So here's column A, column B, column C, and so on. Okay, you have the letters across the top. You also have rows. Here's row 1, row 2, row 3, and so on. And so that's what a spreadsheet is. Basically, you have columns and rows. And you can refer to any of these in here. All of these little boxes here are called cells. So you have a lot of cells around here. Now, when you refer to a cell, it's just tradition. You say the letter column first and then the row number. So for example, this is cell A14. Over here we have cell D5. Okay, you don't say 5D, you say D5. That's just tradition, that's how you do it. Okay. Now, another thing to think about is that you might have a group of cells. We can call this a cell range. These are cells that all are connected to one another. So for example, I might have, say, a group of cells like this. And the way you refer to a group of cells is that you usually refer to the top left cell first and then the bottom right cell. So I can say that this range, that's what that's usually called, is a range of cells, is A1 to F10. And when you talk about range A1 to F10, I mean that we always are talking about rectangular ranges in spreadsheets. So A1 to F10 defines what that range is. If I had a range like this, I would say its range is D13 to H20. Okay. That's just how you name cells and ranges. Now, one of the things with spreadsheets is not only that you can enter text and numbers in the cells, but the power of it is that you can use formulas to calculate things. That's what spreadsheets are used for. Sometimes you use them just because it's an easy way to list things in a table, but the power of a spreadsheet is in formulas. And so when you have a formula, one of the keys to it, let's say that I'm entering a series of numbers here. I've got 123 there, I've got 345 here, I've got 67 there, and I want this cell right here, I want A5 to show me the total of those. I want it to total those. Now, I mean, that's just 3 cells. You could say, well, I can just add them up and I can put and type the total in there. Okay, but what you want to do is to use a formula. Formulas are things that do calculations on other cells. And the way you enter formulas is, you notice that I've got this cell highlighted, that's where it's going to go, that's where my formula is going to go. Up here we have the formula bar. Formulas always begin with the equal sign. When you type the equal sign, that tells Excel that the following is a formula and it's not supposed to just print out what it says. Now, a formula for adding numbers together is called a sum. So I have the equal sign tells it, okay, this is going to be a formula. Then I type sum. You notice that Excel will start suggesting things. So I have sum. Now I need to tell it what cells do I want it to add together. You put a parentheses and you could list the cells. You could say I want you to add A1, A2, A3 together. So you could say A1 and a comma to separate them, A2, A3. And if you say that, then you have to have a parentheses at the end. And then after you've typed that, you press enter, and you notice it's added those numbers together. Now the reason you use formulas is that sometimes these other numbers here might change. Like let's say I want to change that, instead of 123, I want it to be 189. Now after I type that and press enter, you'll notice the sum has changed. Okay, that's the power of formulas. When you enter a formula, when you change data, then the answer is going to change right here. But now, remember I said here I'm adding these three cells together. Well, that's just three of them, A1, A2, and A3, and I listed them. But what if I wanted to add a column of numbers that's 100 numbers long? I'd get pretty tired of listing every cell. What you do is, instead of listing every cell, you can list the range that you want to enter. So instead of entering A1, A2, and A3, I'm going to say A1, then a colon, then A3. The colon tells Excel that this is a range. So it's saying I want you to add everything that's between A1 and A3. After you do that, you press enter, and the result is the same. Okay? But the idea is that if you had a long column of numbers, then it would be, this is a lot easier than trying to list every single cell. Okay? Now, there are a lot of different formulas. You're going to be learning how to do some of them in this course. One thing that Excel has, let's say I want a different formula here, is this right here, insert function. You type that, it puts the equal sign in, but then notice it tells you down here, it suggests things for you. So let's say that instead of adding those numbers together, I want to find the average. Well, it says here, search for a function. So I don't know what average is, so I'm just going to type average. I press go. Okay, notice here, it says it has average right there. Now there are different types of averages, but I just want average. Okay, so I think, okay, that's the one I want, and it just finds it down here. For those of you who are in statistics, it's the arithmetic mean of the arguments. So type OK. Now this also suggests the range, which basically is all the cells above it. Now I don't want this cell A5 in my range because that's the sum of them. I just want these three numbers right here, average. So instead of taking what it gives me, I'm going to type A1 to A3. Okay. And when I do that and click OK, then I've got the answer. Okay. Notice what it put in up here. I could remember that for next time, and instead of using this little button here, I could just type in equals average, and that's a function that you're probably going to use a lot. Okay, but that's how you're going to do formulas, and you're going to be learning a lot about formulas. Now, one other thing I want to go over here in this introduction is formats of cells. Okay, notice these are whole numbers because that's what I typed them in as. This is a decimal number. And if you notice anything, you'll probably notice that that is not an exact number. 200.3333 probably tells you that that's actually a repeating decimal 3. Okay. But let's say that instead of these being just numbers, these are dollars. So I want to format them. I'm going to select, I want all of these to be dollars. I select all of those that I want to change. Up here, I have formatting. And there's some formats that are automatically, it's just kind of like everybody uses them. Notice here's a dollar sign. If I click on the dollar sign, now look what it's done. It's made them all into dollars. It's put the dollar sign in front of them automatically. It's got 2 decimal places. Okay. So it's got them formatted already. When you type numbers and you have a dollar sign in front of it, don't type the dollar sign. just type the number. Let Excel put the dollar sign there for you. If you type in a dollar sign, it's going to get confused and think you're typing in some plain old text, which, by the way, you can type plain old text. Let's say I want to label these, and I've got $189 there, and I want to say that is rent, and this next thing is my car payment, and this next is my food. Okay, there's a budget. So I can label those, and these are just text. Okay, nothing happens to those. So you have different types of formatting up here, and you can figure those out. You'll be learning more about those. So this is an introduction to spreadsheets, and you'll be learning a lot more about these over the next few weeks.